Welcome to China, my first time. I'm excited, rather more nervous. I never thought China would be like this. And also, in the news and media, it doesn't do justice actually to China's infrastructure.
An Indian uncle came to China for the first time, and only then realized that he was living as if in the Truman Show, with his cognition restrained by invisible shackles. When he had just arrived in China, he was like most travel bloggers, excited in his heart while also mixed with nervousness. What excited him was that he was about to lift the veil of this mysterious eastern country. What made him nervous was his worry about the unknown journey, like a patient with paranoia, constantly imagining scenes in his mind that would go badly for him.
Welcome to China, my first time. I'm excited, rather more nervous.
However, right after the blogger got off the plane and arrived at Shenzhen airport, the bad scenes he had imagined in his mind were immediately replaced by the shocking sights in front of him. The futuristic facilities and sci-fi-like scenes left him dumbfounded, and even the floor was so clean that it gleamed. For a moment, the blogger was actually at a loss. Because the time was 3 a.m., and there was hardly anyone to be seen in the airport, a sense of an elaborately planned illusion suddenly surfaced in the blogger's mind, making him feel that all of this was unreal. It was not until he met the staff that he was pulled back from the illusion to reality. Because of the language barrier, he ran into some difficulties when asking how to get a taxi, but the staff's patient explanations, and their warm, friendly words and attitude, left a deep impression on him. Even during the ride to the hotel, the blogger was still in a daze, and even began to doubt whether he had really arrived in China, rather than somewhere else. Because it was already very late, the somewhat bewildered blogger wanted to be alone for a while, so he ended the filming. When the blogger came to the second day, the first thing he wanted to experience was the metro system here, to see whether it was really as developed as people said online.
We are going to try out the most developed metro system here, perhaps most developed in the world even.
After entering the metro station, the blogger looked somewhat at a loss. Although he had learned from the airport experience and had some psychological preparation, he was still very surprised by such a clean and orderly environment. Because he did not know the operating process, the blogger found a staff member and bought a ticket very smoothly. And everything here felt very unfamiliar to him, with excitement for new things in his eyes, yet also a hint of confusion. He kept talking about what he had seen and heard along the way. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would still have believed in his heart that India was at least 10 years more advanced than China. After getting off the metro, the scene in front of him shocked him even more, and he unconsciously thought of India again. Both are countries with huge populations, so why can't India be like China? Whether it was the orderly crowds, the clean and tidy environment, or the highly modern facilities, everything amazed him. In the end, he could not even find more words to describe the excitement in his heart at that moment.
What an amazing expo actually. Really impressed. Nice architecture. Very fancy. Of course. I don't know how many more books I can use.
And after leaving the metro, looking at the skyscrapers all around, the blogger's eyes were full of confusion and disbelief. At this moment, he truly realized in his heart that perhaps he really had been trapped in a false Truman world, and that China was the real place full of infinite possibilities. After a whole day of walking and exploring, the blogger's emotions were sometimes excited, and sometimes, when he thought of the current situation in India, he seemed a little down. Just like when the blogger experienced a self-driving bus in Guangzhou the next day. It is not their fault that they feel curious and cannot believe everything, because in the eyes of locals, some things are ordinary, but in the eyes of foreign tourists, they are very famous.
Automated bus journey experience, automated Guangzhou's, famous with the foreigners at least, not the local people.
When the time came to the fifth day, after finishing the trip in Shenzhen and Guangzhou, the blogger planned to take a train to another place, Xiangxi. Because the airport and the metro earlier had both brought a strong impact to his heart, he also wanted to see whether the train station would be the same as before. Although he already had a clear answer in his heart, the blogger, with a fluke mentality, still left a trace of fantasy in his mind. But the scene in front of him completely smashed that trace of fantasy. No matter what he saw in the station, he compared it with India one by one. Only at the end did he have to admit that today's China was really not what he had understood before, and it had completely exceeded his imagination.
I never thought China would be like this. And also, in the news and media, It doesn't do justice actually to China's infrastructure.
After going to the restaurant on the second floor and buying a cup of coffee, the blogger planned to wait for the train to arrive while also looking around the hall. What he did not expect was that the train time was very punctual. This again made him think of Indian trains that are either delayed or on the way to being delayed. Especially as he watched the high-speed rail, full of a sense of technology, slowly pull in, the blogger's feelings were truly mixed, and he did not know how to continue filming next. But he quickly adjusted his mindset, and as soon as he got on the train, he excitedly went straight to the toilet. He also did not know why every Indian blogger who comes to China always has an inexplicable obsession with toilets.
To the proper toilet. Can you imagine? Not the airplane kind vacuum sucking toilet, the actual toilet.
After finishing the toilet visit, the blogger did not return to his seat, but began to explore various facilities inside the train. He was very curious about everything he saw. As he learned more and more, all kinds of delicate designs made his eyes light up. But the more he learned, the more confused he felt in his heart. Without realizing it, he began to stare out the window at the scenery in a daze. However, after only a moment, the green mountains and clear waters flashing by, wind power generation, and tunnels and bridges, and so on, the scenery along the way and the infrastructure construction made his mood even more complicated. It was also unclear what the blogger was thinking at this moment, and in silence he arrived at mealtime, and only then did he come back to his senses from the bewildered state. But facing the camera, the blogger also said nothing, and just kept eating like that, until after getting off the train, he finally pulled himself together from the complicated emotions and began to introduce his next stop.
So now, to get to the station, we have to take a maglev train.
As for the maglev train, the blogger had only just learned about it, so he prepared to go and check it out. After entering the train station, at a glance he saw a ticket office for a maglev sightseeing train. With the help of the staff, he quickly bought a ticket. While waiting, the blogger learned that the maglev here was not as fast as the one in Shanghai, but a sightseeing train provided for tourists, but the blogger did not mind. From his confused eyes, you could see that what he really wanted to understand was how the maglev train actually operates. Just when the blogger could not figure it out, he was quickly attracted by the scenery along the way. After arriving at the destination, looking at the scenery in the distance, the blogger looked even more confused. Away from Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou and Shenzhen, this place looked like a scenic spot in a mountain village, yet it was also so prosperous. Although there were no skyscrapers, the combination of tradition and modernity made him feel as if he was traveling back and forth between ancient and modern times, with a very dreamlike charm everywhere. Especially the moment he stepped onto the elevator, looking at the scenery in the distance, and then recalling what he had seen and heard along the way. If it had not been his personal experience, he still would not have believed to this day that China's development had completely surpassed India. And this trip to China may become a turning point in his life, allowing him to feel China's future full of infinite possibilities with a brand new perspective and posture.
If these scenes had appeared 20 years ago, they might have been treated as a gimmick, questioned, and seen as deliberate packaging. But in 2026 today, they exist quietly, and no one needs to emphasize them on purpose. What is truly shocking is not skyscrapers, the metro, or maglev trains, but that sense of taken for granted. They're not display pieces, but everyday life. Not spectacles, but basics. When a society turns order, efficiency, cleanliness, and punctuality into default settings, external stereotypes will slowly lose their effect. Some perceptions are changed through argument, but more perceptions are changed through seeing with one's own eyes. And this journey may have changed more than just one person's view.